Pod Apostle. Help us build the kingdom. Like, share, and subscribe. As it often happens, very rich readings, all three today. Unless your righteousness surpasses that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, what was the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees? Not all of the scribes and Pharisees were equally opposed to Christ, but the scribes and Pharisees, in general, we would say, their righteousness was an outward observance of a law that constrained them. And Christ is telling us that the law has to be internalized and our heart has to be transformed from within. We have to be changed by God's grace. From the 10 Commandments that box us in, thou shalt not, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. See the movement there? That doesn't get rid of the thou shalt nots. It transforms and elevates them into you love your spouse in such a radical way that you're not going to commit adultery. Thou shalt not becomes thou shalt love with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. That's part of what's happening in the gospel today. It's not all of what's happening in the gospel today, but it's certainly a part of it. There are very, very few examples where we just leave the language, the original language, instead of trying to translate it into English, okay? There's a couple of instances. Jesus says, Talitha Kahum, which means little girl arise, and Eli, Eli, when he's on the cross, my God, and it's like we leave some of those few original languages in the Bible when we read it in English, and we have one today, raqqa. What does that mean? Well, we're not really sure what it means. That's why I think one of the reasons we just left it as it is. But it's basically just an insult. It's just a kind of general put down. It is a word used to try to make somebody feel bad about who they are. And Jesus says, if you say that to your brother, you'll be answerable to the Sanhedrin and to the fires of Gehenna. If you go through life trying to make people feel bad about who they are, not necessarily about what they did. Sometimes we have to do that, But it is this kind of general sort of fundamental insult of person, from what I understand. So love your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, right? And love your neighbor as yourself, yes? And from time to time in life, we take a step back and we are just grateful for God's mercy, right? Maybe this morning you were grateful for God's mercy. And when we say Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison, we're using the Greek formula of asking for God's mercy. When we translate that to English, it's Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy. Only Greek in the liturgy now. Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison. And it means more than simply Lord have mercy. It's a richer expression. It means, Lord, thank you for the mercy that you've had on me. Lord, I depend on your mercy. I call on your mercy. I'm grateful for your mercy. Lord, have mercy. If you, O Lord, would mark our iniquities, who could stand? Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord. Hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to the voice of my supplication. The responsorial psalm today, Psalm number 130, right? A beautiful prayer of dependence on the mercy of God. And my brothers and sisters, the scribes and Pharisees were dependent on their own goodness. We have to become dependent on the mercy of God. And the mercy of God lives in us as a transforming power. And if our righteousness is just external, thou shalt nots, it's not going to measure up to what we're called to as Christians. Thou shalt be transformed by the grace of God.